Apologies for the lack of a March video on the channel, but my wife had to invoke the first clause of our agreement, and so time's been a bit limited while assisting with her ill health. And the usual real life, such as the storm damage to the rear of the shop. You'll be a video of that in a minute. But it has meant the dog and I have got a chance to go on some long walks. Not so bad, you may think, although I do have to sit on the puffy. But it's pleasant, so you can't complain. So there hasn't been a lot of time for much in the way of retro things. But I have got a number of short items that were candidates for videos over the last year. Maybe just photo records. So I thought I'd put them together as a bit of a shorts collection. So some of these may go on to be full episode about that system or its related use or a final repair over the coming months. So if you've got any comments of anything you'd like to see expanded up, then something interests you in more detail, please make a comment below. So as I said, real life can be a little bit well, even with the trying to hold it down, that was the last of the roof. Yeah, it's all done. So that was real life, but there we go, gets in the way, doesn't it? So the first thing we're going to have a little look at is for those who remember the old attic raids. There were a few things that were found at the attic, one of which was my Evo 8 meter. So I've got a couple of pictures. This one was quite interesting as well, which is a working transistor tester from back in the day. You twist the dial round and it'll tell you the pin out of the transistor where this NPN or PNP were making a sound. Still had an original 9 volt 1.5 volt battery in it, and ever ready, which actually worked. So there we are, the inside of it. So I think we may have seen this on the channel previously, but I just found it fascinating. So amongst that find was an Evo 8 meter. Now the Evo 8, it did need a replacement battery, which is one of these. That's only for some of the ranges, obviously. And I started off with a sort of 5 volt reference. And here it is with a 10 volt reference against a meter. So, it seems to be pretty accurate, to say the least. So that'll be featuring in some of my videos in the future, I'm sure, as we think. Although I don't know whether I'll be doing much 2,500 volts. Oh, so that was the sort of first one, which was found up at the attic. The other thing I found up there, which was quite interesting, was some of these. So we'll take a little look at a video and we'll take a run at it. It's a 1980s contemporary device. It's a bit difficult to read, but it's an electrostatic field alarm. And the I with the slash is Peter Armitage. He was the guy who developed the electronics test programs we used to sell in Gilsoft for the BBC. Could make back in the day. Went on to work on Transize and a few other companies he was involved with, some really clever electronics things. I remember this, being able to detect electrostatic fields very easily. Just turn it on and wave it round. Well, in my hair, nothing's happening, so I suspect it's probably got a flat battery. So I thought I'd just have a quick open up and have a see what was inside it. Never really did ask him how it worked or what it did. Oh dear. Oh, the goo. Look at that battery goo. Yeah, absolutely not looking too healthy, is it? And it's gone on the board as well, I think. Yeah, oh dear. Oh well, that Vidor power cell long life. I mean, this is from the 1980s, 1983 probably. So a little bit of blue circuit board and switch. So sounder. I'm going to try and get that battery out then and get it dumped. So probably can be repaired. Depends if there's any damage to the bit of junk. Let's get it out. Oops, oh dear. It's definitely rotted through everything. So that is a definite gone. So I'll go straight in the battery recycling bag. On the sort of real life topics, I did have to, I think I mentioned, upgraded my computer to improve the, well, just give me some faster rendering and doing video work. So one of the things I suffered, of course, when I'm working with some retro computing is a lack of a serial card. So I sort of had a little fiddle with a real PC and upgraded the machine like this. So of course I've had to finally give in and upgrade my PC to something with a little bit more memory and a slightly more powerful CPU. But of course it has no serial port, so I've dug out something I bought quite some time ago, which is a twin port serial card, and I'm going to put it back into the machine now in its only PCI slot. So that will of course give me a lovely serial port for all those retro computers that need 9-pin serial. So I'm going to get that crammed in, and it'll appear in my TTY-S. One of the machines that you would obviously use serial port on, the PICL V2. But today in a quick build, I'm hoping to build up a new version of Norton's pickle machine, which is been done by Phil on the Vintage Radio Forum. So it's a board he's had made up, which is just a PIC chip basically, an NVRAM, couple of switches, some LEDs for indicators, a serial interface, and basically implements the NatSemi Industrial Basic. So I'm just going to put that together. I don't know, we need a full build video, but there's not a lot in there. I think this is for a standard serial port rather than the little unit he suggests, which is one of these, I think. There's one go on there. Yeah, which is not, it's 232 connector. I want to use it on a standard PC, so I had to drop all the parts earlier, so I'm going to have to find another one of these little switches. So I think we need 3, yeah we do. So I'm just going to solder that together, and we'll have a little play with it later. The assembly is fairly straightforward. Phil's done a really nice job to make it based on, as I said, Norton's design. So worth a quick build up and quite easy to do. And we'll probably do a bit of a video on using that with something else I've got coming, and maybe the serial port from this PC. Now another real world thing, I suppose, is you'll see it in the sort of imagery up here. This is my room back in the 80s, and the stereo there, which was famously seen in a video in the 1980s, which for the life of me I can't remember, Electric Dreams, there we go. And I've still got that hi-fi, which I've gone through many repairs, and one of the things that I was a bit disappointed with is the display on it had failed. Now originally I was going to go, well, that's the end of that, but I was persuaded to take a look by Ian, who spotted the engineering stuff on it. It's actually a removable display that you can oh, it's a video, why is that? There we go, there's a JPEG of it. It's like a removable module. I assumed it was some sort of edge lit thing, but actually when you take a bit of a closer look at it, it's just got some lamps in it with some coloured covers over it, and I was able to get replacement lamps. I could have converted it to LED, I suppose, but I actually had the machine in bits, and that's part of the inside of the machine. I've actually got to swap out one of these capacitors now as well. But actually the later still didn't work, so I thought, oh no, what's that? But it turns out that you can see there's a bit of corrosion where that cap's leaking. And there's this device here actually was a little bit loose on the and came off, and it's a very unusual part. It's a sort of polyfuse type thing, I think, but it's a unique Sony part. but looking at the circuit diagram, it's fitted only as a safety system in European supply. So that means that when the machine is, I tested some of the other caps in the system as well to try and find out what the problem was. But once fully repaired, you get the nice coloured displays light up, which look lovely. And you get the coloured tape one. So that's brilliant. That's a real a worthwhile little repair. The actual tape deck that goes with it is broken completely, so I've got a repair that will have to be done on that. I've got the engineering manual for it. It's before the serial card installed, by the looks of it. And that's another inside of the amplifier. So, something to look forward to, I suppose, is going to be the tape deck repair, because I might well video that and pick up on it. So I'm sure it's not going to be a trivial bit of work. So one idea I had to follow up from the attics was the shed of doom in my parents' garden. Is an old shed that contains a lot of the remnants of the back in the day electronics, I assume. So we thought the shed of doom might make an interesting story. And it's got more than just rusty nails and Swan Vesta matches, as we'll see in this little video. Now the shed of doom is full of stuff, absolutely full of stuff. Look at all this, and a leak. Oh my goodness, we've got something growing there. I'm sure there'll be lots of stuff to find in the shed of doom. Oh goodness. So in the shed we find a movie slicer from back in the day. Don't know whether I would actually use that as a video, but it's a bit of a dive into film press for the standard 8 Super 8. The sheds have got a damp, unfortunately, and the batteries are still in there. Yuck. It's a bit of gunk, and I assume that's the glue upside down, so let's check it out and make sure it's survived and clean that up a little bit. Luckily enough, it's clean enough inside. I think the two little badges have fallen off. Dispose of the batteries. So basically the mechanism moves after a little bit of a clean. So I think we can probably save it. Yep, I think so. Don't leave it gear in the shed, kids. We also have a fairly poor condition. My original signal generator we had, which had a small amplifier on it and various voltage power supplies for supporting our test work. So plus minus 15 and 5 volt you could use off. But obviously the damp's really got it, and the woodwork around it has degraded. So still got the original rough cut aluminium. And you know, it's a possibility I can rescue the faceplate. We'll see. That's quite a lot of work, I think, to do that though. Well, there we go. I've still got a little bit of the woodwork and recovered a box full of bits with all the parts. So look out for that. We'll see whether we can save something along the signal generator. One I did, which actually probably will end up with a full video by itself, is this, my ZX PSU. Which was the way I powered my ZX81 when I first had it. I can't remember why I had a problem with the existing ZX81 PSU. Did you not get one with the kit? I don't know, can't remember whether you did get one. But yeah, so we had it's fairly rusty and tatty. But there we are. Actually, there's quite a video on it. We'll cover that probably as a separate video and see what happened to it. It's probably worth a look as a separate topic. So that will be coming up. And there's obviously a few other things that I found in that shed that might show up as something interesting. We'll see how it goes. I have found some time to play with some retro type computing. I had a little bit of an eBay buy of a few cassette recorder units. This is Sanyo M1104. I already had one. Obviously you can see the shape of the belts, which needed some work. They arrived in a fair state, and the battery compartment was pretty rough, so it needed a good lot of cleaning up and updating the belts. But now it's running quite nicely. So I've now got a reasonably good. I managed to free that rusted mess and get the chassis out with just some to clean it all up, and it's it's pretty good now. So as I said, the belts I managed to get replacements for, so I've got a pair of those. So I have found some retro time. The other one that is a real life getting in the way was this one. This is the shop's add-in calculator, which is brand new, and I couldn't believe it just stopped working one day. So I thought I'd take it apart, and I've wired up a plus and a minus connector here, because this space here used to contain, and it's connected to an external jack socket now to feed its 5V directly in, which, as you can see how I've done it here, it's just basically a very lightweight with a printer built in as well. It seemed a shame to throw it away, but that was literally what was inside there. It was a pre-built PSU with an external power supply that had just failed. So I just put an external jack and 5V onto it. So now we've got a perfectly good working calculator again, which is great. So, like I said, real life gets in the way of some of the interesting jobs we're going to do, don't we? So we've covered most things, I think. We've done the AVOs, the electrostatic, the movie splicer, the PC serial, the pickle. The other bit of playing about I had was the radio software. I don't know whether you saw that. It was Radio Lab. It was Simon Goodwin did this in conjunction with a US public sector broadcaster, which was to try and transmit a Spectrum Christmas card over the airwaves, which I pulled off as an MP4 and the mixtape and loaded it in, and it works fine. So just like the old days, off of a tape deck. So I have found a few times over the last few months to do some playing about. And that's about it for the shorts, I think. If we've got anything... shall I show you this one? This is two finds that were also up the attic. You may have seen the music box, the original one I built, but I'm not sure I've shown this. This is a drum machine, partly built. I think it's a Maplin computer drum. So we'll certainly get that set up and working again. I can't remember which machine I originally had it hooked up to. Possibly the Spectrum, but that'll be an interesting restore job to look forward to as well. So there we go. Hopefully that makes up a little bit for not having had a March video, and I've also made some good progress on the Triton, to be honest, so there should be some video coming up of the Triton progress. The chassis has been fabricated, and I'm in the middle of sorting out some parts for that. So hopefully we'll see you soon. And next month I'm hoping still to make it to the Spectrum 40 event in Walsall. So hopefully we'll meet some of you in person there, and maybe get some video from that for the proper April video. I'll catch you soon, and thanks for watching. Bye bye. I'm Tim Gilbert, and this is my channel on retro computing.